Many of you saw this video.
Poor girls turn me on. The poorer the girl, the more attracted I am to her.
Here is the problem with the young man that went on Nedu's podcast and said poor women turn him on.
So guys, as the fight between VDM, Very Dark Man, and Nedu progresses, a lot of Nigerians have come out to state their own escapades and dealing with Nedu and the Honest Bunch podcast. We have the likes of people like Saidaboj, who has come out to state that she was totally misrepresented. In fact, they edited the videos to make her say things which she never said. So also the likes of the former Mr. Nigeria, a man known as Ugomokolo, has also come out to state that he planned to say something different during the Honest Bunch podcast when he was invited. Basically, he paid to be in the podcast. And he planned to say something different, something which is much more uplifting to the growth of Nigeria. But Nedu advised him to say something totally negative and derogatory so that he will trend and he will use the clout to kind of be more popular. Now the guy went to the Honest Bunch podcast and said exactly what he said Nedu told him to say. When the podcast aired, a lot of Nigerians came up and dragged him. He was really dragged through the streets of social media. It wasn't funny for him. So now the trend of Nedu, kind of cancelling Nedu, has been ongoing. He has come out again on the platform of Lucky Udu to state that Nedu really manipulated him, wanted to clear the air on what really transpired.
Many of you saw this video.
Poor girls turn me on. The poorer the girl, the more attracted I am to her.
A lot of you will be wondering why a guy like this would have said something like that. Today he's here to clear the air because he was forced to say that very statement. It never actually came from him. This is his story.
It's against my character to say such a thing because poor girls don't turn me on. No. Nedu told me that he owns Honest Bunch podcast. So he said, I'll have to pay a certain amount, 5 million naira. That if I really want to present this topic today, that he's giving me the option of, I have to say what he tells me to say. He now said, I have to mention the celebrity's name to make the thing go viral. He specifically mentioned Very Dark Man. He said I should mention Very Dark Man. So since the owner is telling me this, I went on the podcast and said the things Nedu asked me to say. I was so depressed. So I decided to end my life. In my lifetime, I've met manipulators, I've met narcissists, I've met gaslighters, and I've met scammers. But Nedu is a discovery. Hi, my name is Ugo Wokolo, Mr. Nigeria Supranational. I'm sure a lot of you saw the video that went viral a couple of weeks back. I was actually manipulated and forced to say that. But this is my story.
Oh my goodness, bro, I can't believe you made that statement. Poor girls turn you on. Why would you even say something like that?
Yeah. I made a statement, but I was actually forced and manipulated to make that statement.
Can you tell us about everything?
It's actually a long story, but I'll try to cut it short. You see, I won Mr. Nigeria Supranational 2024, October, and I needed Nigerians to know about my journey because I was going to represent my dear country in Poland. So I needed Nigerians to know about my journey and everything. So I reached out to Honest Bunch podcast through Nedu. So Nedu is someone I look up to as a mentor in the industry because he has been here for a long time and he's someone I look up to, someone I admire his craft and everything. So I reached out to Nedu and was like, oh, I want to appear on the Honest Bunch podcast to discuss a topic that I think is actually valuable to Nigerians. So what Nedu responded to me is that, okay, first of all, he said, I'll have to pay a certain amount for me to appear on this podcast. I was like, okay, how much? He said 5 million naira. Nedu told me that he owns Honest Bunch podcast and he has to settle his staff from that amount. I said, okay, no problem. I had to do it. So I sent Nedu 5 million naira. And so after I sent him money, he was like, okay, what's your topic? Then I went ahead and told him that, okay, my topic is eradicating classism and advocating, fostering an egalitarian society. So I'm going to quote Nedu verbatim. What he said to me is that, Mr. Nigeria, this thing where they talk like big grammar, Nigerians are dumb. They don't like people that sound intelligent. You're not Peter Obi. For your message to fly, you have to sound dumb. You don't have to bring all those big grammar because it's not going to fly. That's what Nedu told me. I was like, okay.
And you are new to media.
Yeah, I'm new to media. So yeah, and he's someone I respect so much.
So much. So of course.
So I felt that every counsel and advice from him is gold, and so I need to take it.
Yeah, you need to.
So I just said, okay, since Nedu can say this to me, because I didn't think he had any ulterior motive, or any surreptitious move or anything. So I took it hook, line, and sinker because I'm someone that is very credulous. I tend to believe people a lot because of my good heart. Because I believe that people should not do bad to me because I cannot nurse anything evil to someone. So Nedu now said to me that I have to sound dumb to appeal to Nigerians. A day before the podcast, Nedu told me that there's a development. Someone else is coming to make the conversation interesting. I was like, but that's not our agreement now.
I mean, this is something you paid for, right? For yourself.
I paid to promote myself. So why are you bringing someone else? Nedu now said, oh, there's no problem now. It's going to make it interesting. Don't worry. And I said, no. 5 million is not something that people pluck from tree now. Exactly. It's my hard-earned money. So why are you reneging on our agreement? So after a lot of back and forth, Nedu now finally agreed to refund me 2 million from the 5 million so that I can appear with someone else on the program. So he said he's going to refund me the money after I make the appearance. So the day came, the day of the podcast. I said to Nedu, I'd like to see you for briefing. Let me know what I'm going to say and everything. Because I already had what I was going to say, but I just needed to know, I just needed to get some briefing. So
it's your first time?
Yeah, it's my first time actually. So Nedu now met me and said, yeah, it's a good thing because he was actually talking to his co-host and they've dissected the topic and they think it's not something that's going to go viral. That if I really want to present this topic today, that he's giving me the option of, I have to say what he tells me to say. I was like, no, now I have my topic already. Why would you tell me what to say? He said, no, that this is the way it works. That he has to tell me what to say. This is his program, and he calls a shot. I was speechless. I was dumbfounded. I was like, bro, this is not what to discuss. He now said, number one, he's going to tell me what to say, and I have to mention the celebrity's name to make the thing go viral. He specifically mentioned Very Dark Man. He said I should mention Very Dark Man. I was like, Very Dark Man doesn't have anything to do with my topic because my topic is about rich men getting married to broke girls or girls who they are in a better financial position than. But he now said I should say something like poor girls turn me on. The poorer the girl, the more attracted I am to her. And I said no. I'm not going to say that. That's not my topic. If you insist not to say this, then I think I have to back off. I'll just take my money and leave. He now said that he's sorry that he can't refund because the money has been distributed to his workers. That the only thing that he can do is I should go back and come back on a later date when I'm interested or when I'm ready. I said, but I'm ready now. You're giving me a new topic and everything. He now said that's how he's done. That I have to accept this or go back and come back. So I had to think about the money I've spent and coming back is going to cost me more money. So.
And you had to fly from Abuja to Lagos?
I had to fly from Abuja to Lagos for the interview. Yeah. So I just said, okay, since we're here already, let's just do it. Since Nedu is the owner, because he told me he's the owner of the Honest Bunch podcast. So since the owner is telling me this, I'm a newbie in the industry. So I foolishly agreed to that. And that is what put me in the mess that I am today. So I went on the podcast and said the things Nedu asked me, manipulated me to say. But I'll still say this. I take responsibility. I'm not trying to blame anybody. I'm just trying to tell Nigerians what actually happened and what prompted me to make that statement. The thing is, it's against my character to say such a thing because poor girls don't turn me on. No. Nedu forced and manipulated me to say that. I deserve all the insult I've gotten so far because I was the one that said it. But I just need Nigerians to know what's actually transpired. I've been seeing a lot of repulsive, egregious comments saying, oh, some people said I manipulate women. That is why I'm looking for a poor girl to control and all of that. I'm a ritualist. I'm looking for a poor girl to use. A lot of comments that is against my character, against my person. That is not who I am. I'm so sorry.
So how
I was just a victim of manipulation. So this is not who I am. Poor girls don't turn me on. I'm sorry that this happened, and that is why I'm here to clear the air. In my lifetime, I've met manipulators, I've met narcissists, I've met gaslighters, and I've met scammers. But Nedu is a discovery. Yeah. Because before I went for the podcast, he told me something. He said, even Saidaboj, he said he was the one that made Saidaboj say what she said, and now she has gone viral. She's popular. That I should just listen to him. I should believe him. I should trust him. That's what he told me. He said, if he can make Saidaboj who she is, that's who am I? That I should not worry. I should trust him and do what he asks me to do. So that is how I found myself in this mess. That has deeply affected me in all ramifications.
I was even surprised to hear that he asked you to mention Very Dark Man's name. Why?
Nedu is someone that is passionately obsessed about getting views in any way he deems fit. At the detriment, he just want to get views. He wants to get a viral moment at the detriment of the guest.
You know, social media has changed, especially in the Nigerian space. It has become so toxic. You see a lot of nonchalant people occupying very relevant position on the Nigerian social media space. And to a lot of people, going viral could be anything. Do you understand? It could be calling out somebody that is an elderly person. It could be insulting innocent people. It could just be coming out to attack people that did not even do anything to you. Do you understand me? So that is maybe his own idea of going viral.
But the truth is, I'm actually a different person. I'm not a cloud chaser.
The major
reason why
you wanted publicity for yourself.
Yes, because of my international
You're now Mr. Nigeria. You wanted Nigerians to start paying attention to you as you make progress along the way. So what you wanted was a space where you could have an interview section to express your opinion. Do you understand? To push that narrative of an equal society. That was the topic.
Yeah, it's an equal
right?
society, basically.
Where maybe somebody who is doing well can actually embrace somebody who is not so doing
well. Yeah.
Right. That was the narrative you wanted to push, but unfortunately, that was not what you got. So, from my perspective, I think that the person he met, the person's idea about going viral is entirely different from the rest of us. So, like I said, going viral for some people could just mean getting the opportunity to call out somebody entirely innocent. And the truth is that social media goes a long way to actually affect people's life. Can you tell us how that statement affected your life?
Honestly, this past few weeks has been a roller coaster of emotions. Like, it's difficult for me to put my words together, but I faced the lowest point of depression because I got calls from my family members, my classmates, everybody were asking me, why would you go on a podcast to say something so obtuse? Because that is not who they know me to be. But whenever they ask me that kind of question, like, what happened? Why did you say that? I can't just bring myself to start telling them that I was manipulated because they think I'm smart. So it took a heavy toll on my mental health. When I went through the comment section, I saw the heinous, egregious comments, which was totally opposite from what I was expecting. Nedu was just laughing over the phone. He said, I should not worry.
Unfortunately, after Mr. Nigeria, the former Mr. Nigeria, Ugonwo Okolo, came out and said this, Nigerians still did not take it lightly with him. They still dragged him through the streets of social media. Let's see some of the reactions.
Now, when I saw that interview yesterday, I did not even watch it finish because where he was crying, saying that somebody forced. Why will anybody force you to say what you don't want to say? Do you understand what I'm trying to say? And I'm not sure. Nedu is going through a lot on the other side. Do you understand? So you just leave this guy alone. Why would you say somebody forced you to say, okay, when you went on that broadcast, if Nedu forced you to say what you said truly, then you went on the broadcast, then it was in your favor, like you gain a lot of money from it, many brands reach out to you or something. I'm very sure you wouldn't come out and say, oh, Nedu forced you to do this thing. But because of you knew that you were dragged and many people were like, what kind of man is this? That's why you're coming out. And you know that Nedu is in trouble, the podcast is in trouble. That's why you're not coming out so that people will be at your back. But trust me, I know that people are not daft and people are not blind. Do you understand? How will anybody force you to do what you don't want to do? I knew that what he was saying yesterday was a lie, and at this time I know that the podcasts are saying the truth. Nobody can force you to do what you don't want to do. If you don't want to do, then you back out, you leave. You say, somebody forced you to say what you wanted to say. You was crying and all those things. I was just like, please, I beg. I did not even watch it in that lucky stuff. I did not watch it because I felt like this guy was lying. But thank God, the podcast came out releasing a statement saying that it was all a lie. And I believe them that this guy, this Nwankolo guy, is lying.
Hi.
My brother, what happened? So he went to Lucky Udu the other day here to tell Lucky Udu that when he went to Honest Boy podcast, that all the things he said, Nedu put words in his mouth.
Okay.
Nedu said he must say those things if he wants to blow, that he has to say those things. In other words, Nedu put words in his mouth. That's what he told Lucky Udu. So we are not sure now if Lucky Udu is the one that put words in his own mouth. We are not sure yet until the next podcast.
God have mercy upon us.
Now there's a line he used that blew me. He said that he has seen gaslighters, he has seen manipulators, but Nedu's own is a discovery. Bro, so you get lines like this. Now you don't use them for the podcast. They had to give you lines because you were bankrupt. Bro, you get all these lines. Nedu's own is a you be poet. No wonder they give you this big brother, Mr. Nigeria, for secret. Because they don't really know what you go talk. Bro! Hey! It shocked me, a man like you sit you down, give you lines. You self they collect. Because lines are falling onto you. You just sit down, they smile. They fall onto you like that. Nah, because it's his birthday period. I mean, we all know that it's Nedu's period, as in, it's Nedu's birthday time because that's when they collect different things. Everybody, now season with this, no worry. So you now decided to, but I just go inside house because you see this interview where you just do again. You go still find another podcast to say you force you talk with you talk. It's because of the beef between Nedu and Lucky Udu that. Bro! He said, man, do they talk with you? Now, you just say now the right pageantry they give you, Mr. You're supposed to be Sister Nigeria because how you put it talk like it's even shameful enough say man like you put words in your mouth just because of you want blow or you want it to go viral. You still come out, can't talk him again. Stop him. Stop him. I don't really follow this your Mr. Nigeria trend, but Sister Nigeria.
Okay.
Anyway, I just say let me come and address this, okay? So start to be looking for the next interview. If possible, go buy mic. Hey! Then you just come out, come tell us what Lucky Udu tell you because I'm expecting it. Jesus. I don't know if I'm shouting, sir.
Here is the problem with the young man that went on Nedu's podcast and said poor women turn him on. Here is the problem he's having. You see, before that young man went on Nedu's podcast, that young man never had boundaries. So now, you going on Lucky Udu's podcast, you're still not taking accountability for what you did. You are supposed to hold yourself accountable for your own actions on Nedu's podcast. Lucky Udu cannot help you set boundaries. Because you might blame Nedu right now. Just because Nedu is in hot water, you blame him for everything. It's all good and fine. Next time, somebody else is going to tell you to say something else. And if you don't have boundaries, you might also fall in the same pot of soup. If you don't work on yourself. Here is what you're supposed to do. You are supposed to have your own boundaries set already. A boundary is your moral compass, your moral standard, your own philosophy and principle on how you live your life. Before you associate with anybody, make sure you already have your own local standing. What did they call that thing? Mona no come from you, English people for Nigeria. You are supposed to have your own standard of living, what you accept and what you don't accept. When you went on the podcast, imagine if Nedu tell you, say, make una go thief. You would have told him point blank, I know the thief, I dey fear kirikiri, I dey fear prison. The same thing, when you go somewhere, you hear say young men, they pull their pants down for other men. You will run for your dear life. Because you know it's against your own moral standard. I don't do things like this. It's against my moral judgment. Please, I decline. And you are supposed to decline without any explanation. I'm tired of anybody explaining themselves. Young ladies will go somewhere. They are asking you people to come in somewhere and do something that is against your moral judgment. You decline. You are supposed to decline without any explanation. You will just sneak out of the venue without telling anybody anything, explaining yourself to anybody, because they already know why you left. You don't have to explain yourself to anybody. That already knows that anybody in their right senses should not be doing what I'm asking this person to do. And so you decline. Because you already have your own moral standard, your own standard of living, your own quality of what you accept to do and what you accept not to do. And your moral standard is nobody's business. You cannot explain it to anybody why you decided to live that way. It's because sometimes maybe poverty, or for Nigeria, the hardship has reduced a lot of people to accepting all manner of atrocities that will now haunt them. After you now do that thing, you start becoming depressed. Because the young man became depressed after the thing went viral. We are desperate for clicks. Now you finish doing it, you regret it. Please, work on your boundaries. Work on your boundaries today so that another person will not ask you to do something else that you will end up regretting. A lot of people are wondering, how did I sell my soul? This is how we sell our soul. In case you think one Illuminati there somewhere where they carry people join cults. No, we sell our soul one decision after another. One decision after. That's how you sell your soul. Before you know it, you have no soul left. You gain everything. What thing you can't gain, no? At the end of the day, you gain the whole world. You lose your soul. Please say no. And don't explain why. Because that is where they normally catch people. While you are explaining, they convince you why you should do it. And then you finally, okay, I go do them. And then you're going to regret later. This young man, fine looking young man, set your boundaries today. And do not explain why. And that's what I say. I give you a permission. Go and set your boundaries now. Before your next interview. Allegedly.
Please do not forget to click the subscription button and also like the video. Till next time, bye.